Thanks for tuning in. So yesterday I ended up posting a couple of videos that I had recorded a couple weeks ago, like teasing unboxing for the kids, because I don't know if your kids do that, but it's crazy, and I thought it was funny, and it was like the adulting style. Because Cheyenne and I were very busy with new baby Alexander in the hospital, which was at least one of the coolest experiences of my entire life. I will start out by saying that we were rotating, like sleeping and taking care of the baby, so it just didn't fit into our schedule with everything that was going on to do a recording about the birth story. However, I'm going to do like a little tidbits about my encounter with it. And then at a different time, I'm going to have Cheyenne come back on and we'll introduce baby Alexander, who I'm calling AJ, on that video as well. And like, she'll talk about her birth story. So I will just kind of start by saying, from the last video, like we got moved into the birthing suite and then everything began. Once they broke her water, she labored for, I think between like the time I made the last video to the time she actually was getting ready to push and stuff, I think it was about 10 hours, 10 and a half hours. And she was an absolute trooper. I was amazed by how strong and calm and everything she was. If you hear my kids yelling upstairs, I'm sorry, they're nuts. But it was just a really cool experience. So here's like a crazy thing. She had been starting to have like a pretty difficult contraction. Our goal was to try to have the baby on the 28th. She was like, help me, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, she was a trooper, did tons of exercises. She had one of the nurses come in and show her like all different ways to sit, stand, and she can talk more about that and go into those details. So midnight was nearing and I had seen her face, you know, when she looked like she was gonna have a bad contraction. So I thought it was gonna be a regular contraction, and I was sitting next to her. So I stood up by the side of the bed to hold her hand. And so when I did that, I was telling her to breathe and holding her hand, and then all of a sudden her face like changed. She looked like she'd like seen a ghost or something, like all of a sudden. And then she just looked at me and she was like, I have to push now. And I was like, oh my gosh. So it's just her and I in the room. I'm like, no, I'm hitting the button. This is me hitting the button for the nurse like 37 times. We got moved to the one of the last rooms. So when she said that, she's like, the pressure's unbearable, I have to push. So I'm pressing, thank God. Like 30 seconds later, the nurse was in the room. She had already called for the doctor. However, she got in, and once she went to go check, the baby was already crowning. So that means she could see the head. And since Alexander has a lot of hair, she knew right away it was like time. So she paged and pressed the button a couple more times so more nurses would come and like the birthing team would come. And the doctor was actually in her office just right down the hall and still didn't make it. The nurse had to rip the like emergency cord out of the wall so that they would get like a code to come running. Within the next 60 seconds from the time the nurse walked in the room, the next 60 seconds was all that she pushed for. That was it. It was like maybe 3 to 5 pushes. They were like 10 to 15 seconds apart. I watched the baby come all the way out. Cheyenne was so tough, so strong. She got that baby out so fast. Like I said, the baby was already delivered and the doctor walked in and she was just down the hall. Like it happened so fast. And then I kept thinking like we were supposed to call her husband on FaceTime. Like there was no time for any of that. It was like boom, contraction, there's a baby. Like it was insane. I was so proud of her. Immediately, of course, the baby's coming out. Tears are streaming down my face like it's my own child. Literally like lost my mind. Most beautiful thing. This baby is absolutely gorgeous. He like barely made a peep. And of course he got laid on her chest and I was just like her. It was almost like it was my own child. I fell right in love with him. He was so sweet. Everything was so amazing. And Cheyenne actually gave me the opportunity. She actually asked me when the doctor asked her, would you like to cut the cord? She looked at me and said, would I like to cut the cord? And I was so honored. My jaw probably hit the floor. Of course, I did it, and I didn't get the opportunity to even have a vaginal birth with either one of my kids. So my birthing plans looked much different from hers. So I had never even experienced that part of the pushing or any of that. My personal birthing story with Griffin was my water broke at home, and so I was actually in active labor with contractions for about 14 and a half hours. I got an epidural, and about 10 and a half hours later, I still wasn't progressing with the dilation. So my labor was active all that time, but my body was just it didn't want to let the baby out. So I ended up having an emergency C-section. I went back for that emergency C-section around 23 hours when they had let me know that you can't have your water broken for like more than 24 hours because you risk a dry birth. And it's dangerous for the mother and the child, and risk of infections and all these type of different things go so far up. So I had never been in the like, okay, let's have a baby position, because I never progressed to there. So it was so new and exciting and amazing. And it was kind of cool because she could like school me on it physically and mentally, because she had already done that 2 times. The experience was just phenomenal. I'm so grateful and I'm so happy, and I cannot wait for Cheyenne to tell you her version, because it was insane. After it all happened, we like called her husband, of course, and we were like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry we couldn't call you. And it just happened so fast. And she keeps teasing, but I almost delivered her baby, like seconds. If the nurse would have taken 1 more minute, maybe another 45 seconds, I would have been having some baby in my hands by the time she got in. It was unbelievable. I still can't believe how amazing Cheyenne did, and how she just like handled it like an absolute champ. It was amazing to watch. It was amazing to be a part of. And I almost delivered a baby, and I really did get to help like a ton. And I got to, just experience that whole entire thing. And it was a whirlwind, and it was wild, and it was beautiful. And all I can say is I'm so grateful for it. And I can't wait for you guys to hear her side of like how she was feeling during that, because I don't think she knew there was a baby coming just when that contraction began either, because everything was like business as usual. I was standing up. I knew it was going to be a big one. I want to hold her hand. But she said, until I saw that face, she didn't know. We didn't know. It was like, AJ was like, surprise, I'm here. And that was it. I mean, it was awesome. And then since she gave birth exactly at midnight, the baby is not born on the 28th. His birthday is April 29th. It's super cool. In military time, it's all zeros. So that was like kind of cool, but it made us stay like an extra day. Cheyenne was hoping to get out of the hospital on the 30th. And of course, because he was born at midnight, we weren't able to. We had to stay. We got out this afternoon. The hospital was amazing to us, especially to Cheyenne. And we are grateful for the entire experience. It was super awesome. And I cannot wait till you guys get to see the baby, which I'll post some pictures at the end of the video and before. But I can't wait till you see him and see his sweet little face and hear Cheyenne's take on the birthing story. If you want to talk more about like your birthing story or something like that, feel free to comment, or if you have your birthing story on your YouTube channel, please post like the tag or share it here so that I can check it out. I think birthing stories are really cool. So that is today's episode, and I'm really glad that you guys tuned in. And oh my gosh, I can just throw this in really fast. So when I got home, of course, my house is trashed. Everything's an absolute disaster. I can hear Gage yelling upstairs. The kids like scammed Lance, told them that they finished their school, told them that everything was complete. And really they were like, I mean, it's complete. Most of it is, but like there needs to be like finished things. Things need to be turned in. This online school is straight kicking our ass. I'm not going to lie. It is. So I'm sure my video tomorrow will probably be afternoon, and it'll probably be crazy because I'm going to be home with the kids. Lance is going back to work tomorrow. I'm going to be home with the kids, and we're going to be doing homeschooling first thing in the morning. I think I'm gonna bribe them with like ice cream or something. I just don't even know. I'm really nervous, but wish me luck for tomorrow and look for the homeschooling sucks video that will probably follow our day. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Bye.